Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a special Sunday sojourn for the Sports Savvy Soul Cup Array. Of course, I'm down here at Krabby's on the Pass. I got a special guest in here this morning. I love it. I reached out, and it's so great working in sports, but working in this industry, and especially being here local. You get a chance to talk to one of your I say idols because I've always said he's my favorite. He's the number one kicker in Buccaneer history. But I had a kicking thing going back to Neil O'Donohue and Donald Igwe, and of course, all through the years. I'm gonna go and bring him right in because he's on his way to a kicking session. Welcome to the show, Mr. Martin Gramatica. Martin, how are you, sir?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm so good. So I'm going to go completely off script here right off the bat. Messi's in Miami now with Inter Miami. How big is that, and how excited is the Gramatica family?
That's huge. I mean, you have the best player in the history of soccer coming to the MLS. So that not only is it going to just help Miami and their franchise, but it's going to help the whole MLS and then soccer in general here in the United States. I mean, we're super excited, and it's not just us. I mean, you can see by the fan support. They're going to introduce him this evening, so I'm sure the stadium will be sold out. Yeah, we're thrilled that he's coming to the MLS, and we'll have access to hopefully catch a game soon.
Speaking of soccer, of course, we saw that Nico finished in that big tournament, and he commits to go to USF. Second generation Gramatica for the USF Bulls, of course, Bill and Santiago. Ashley mom kicked there, and now we get to see Nico kicking down here and what they got going on with the program over there. I'm so excited. What are your feelings about having Nico right over there at USF and continuing that Gramatica history here in Tampa Bay?
No, we're thrilled. I mean, we wanted him to go there. He wanted to go there, and then thank God that USF wanted him to stay close to home. But I think what Coach Goldage is doing is a phenomenal job so far from what I've seen, and the practices that we've attended, the meetings. Very, he's a player's coach, but has that intensity to get the guys fired up and hold them accountable. That's the thing. In this day and age, it's a different era, a different way of coaching, and a different way of communicating to the players. But he's done a great job of being able to push them, and that's the thing, finding the right way to push them. Because it's definitely a different society. You can't push players, and you can't motivate them the way they were motivated when I played. But still, you can find a way to push him, and I think Coach is doing a great job with that, and his coaching staff. I mean, we're so happy that that Nico's going to get a chance to play at USF. Like I said, we have family ties, but also keeping him close to home. We'll be able to attend the games. He's got a younger brother, and a younger sister that will be able to go to the games, and he'll be able to attend their games because that's important as well for him to be around and be part of their lives as well. So yeah, we couldn't be happier, and we want to thank Coach Golich and USF for believing in Nico, and he's a hard worker, and I know he's going to be fine.
And that's Coach Gramatica yourself. And you talked about you can't coach him up exactly the way it was back in the days at Kansas State or back in the days. But we can also look at a kid like Nico, doesn't become the number one kicker, number one recruit at the kicker position in the nation, committing right here in our backyard, which I'm so excited about. And it's a whole new brand of football going back with Coach Golich, top 15 under 30 coaches as far as in the nation. So I think we're all excited. And please tell Nico the best. I know you said he's on vacation out of town right now, but hopefully for the best. And we can't wait to see him get started here.
Oh yeah, no, he's working. There's never a vacation. That's the one thing. He took mom's work ethic. She played tennis at USF, so when you're a tennis player, you work every day, and that's Nico's mentality. And then his younger brother Gaston, and then Amy's too. I mean, that's just sports is part of our life. Part of I love all sports and competing, and so yeah. If there's a vacation, there's always a workout involved in the vacation. So he's definitely working, and but we're excited for him to get going. And he still has a senior year of high school to go through first, and then go compete. Because nothing's handed. That's the one thing that luckily I was able to coach him in soccer since he was 3 years old. And the first thing and the only thing that I've always told him is you've got to compete. Nothing's given. And me as a dad, I was the opposite of a lot of these dad coaches. A lot of times coaches coach to entitle their kids. If you can ask anybody that's seen me coach Nico, he's ready and prepared for any type of coach. And that's the way I was brought up as far as my coaches. And that's the way I wanted to have Nico. Thick skin and just work. Without work, you can't be successful at anything.
And you talked about a sports family. One of the things I love about social media is that we get a chance to get a little glimpse in each other's lives, and we keep it on the real, keep it real. But when Argentina when they win the World Cup last year, and it was so exciting to see how your family celebrated. That was a great thing, was it not? Of course, it goes on the tail of Messi now coming to Miami. But talk a little bit about what that World Cup meant last year.
No, I mean, I'm excited because my kids all have Argentine blood, so they're always going to cheer for Argentina. They say they're Argentinian, maybe more because of Messi than myself. But but I'm excited that when Argentina plays, they cheer for Argentina, and then to be able to see Messi lift that trophy, and to be able to enjoy it and celebrate it with my kids and my wife and just in family, that's a priceless moment. That's one moment that I'll never forget. That when we embrace and then just the happiness and the celebration, yeah, we're thrilled. And to me, that just pretty much set the bar where Messi is the greatest of all time. And I'm a Maradona fan. Trust me, I love Maradona. I grew up watching him, but what Messi has accomplished, not only at the club level and now with the national team, there's no question. There shouldn't even be a doubt. So I'm glad that he was able to shut a lot of people up that were always complaining that he hadn't won anything with Argentina.
Even for an not outsider like me, but maybe not as much of a soccer enthusiast, I go back to the Rowdies in the 70s and Rodney Marsh and Pele, getting to see Pele do a soccer kick over at the old Big Sombrero. Good times. But to see Messi raise that trophy, it put tears in my eyes. And I don't know if it's because I'm just getting older and longer in the tooth or just love sports so much. I hope you think it's a combination of the two.
Well, the thing is, what Pele did back in the day was huge, but soccer wasn't that popular in the States, and then obviously without social media. So I personally, as an Argentinian, believe that Messi is the greatest of all time because of what he accomplished at club and now capping it off with the World Cup. So that's going to just not only help develop the MLS, but just soccer in general in the United States. It's the highest played sport by youth. It's just that we haven't been able to in my opinion, put the right coach to get the talent to the next level. And unfortunately, we're going to keep the same coach. I would have gone with a coaching change and just brought in somebody new, somebody with experience, World Cup experience. You see it with other countries when they bring in outsiders with experience, they excel. And we have so many athletes, so many players in this country that we shouldn't be just at CONCACAF dominance. We should be able to dominate everywhere. And I'm a little bit not upset or sad a little bit that we didn't make a coaching change, especially with all the drama. I mean, we make national headlines because of the drama inside the locker room, and that's something that you really can't come back from. When you lose the locker room, when you lose some of the players, you just can't come back from that. And to give them another chance, I just don't understand what they're thinking.
They spend over $800,000 or something to go on an outside hire agency to go out and come in with some references to come back and make a suggestion, and then they suggest to go back to the same old, same old. I kind of got a little miffed by that myself.
It's I've never heard of that in my life. Once there's such drama and like I said, international drama. How do you come back from that? I just don't get it. I would have made a change. I would have made a change regardless. But even with that drama, even more of it.
Yeah, well, and Martin, well, of course, I'm speaking with Martin Gramatica. We got another Hall of Famer going into the Hall of Fame here at the end of the month. Speaking of locker room, of course, Mr. Rondé Barber. What are your feelings about seeing another one of your teammates from the great teams you played on going into the Hall of Fame? What does that mean to you and for the rest of the guys that you still keep in touch with? We'll get to Warren Sapp here in a minute.
No, it's a great honor because anytime one of our teammates gets into the Hall of Fame, we feel like a little piece of us goes in there, even though obviously it's their achievement, their hard work, but just be able to share locker room with them and just be part of their achievements and just and friendships. These guys, we're a family, and that's what Coach Dungy created. When he came to Tampa, he created a family. So just to be able to say, I'm part of that, or I was a teammate of these Hall of Famers. We just couldn't be happier, and nobody deserves it more than Rondé. When you look at his stats and what he's accomplished, and to top it off, he's just a great guy. So it's really nice to see that he's getting rewarded for all his hard work.
And speaking of another Hall of Famer, of course, Warren Sapp was in town this week. We saw he was over there at Lifeguard Imaging. Talk a little bit about that before we work into yesterday's Health Expo you had over at One Buck Place. Tell me a little about Lifeguard Imaging. I've been doing some research this week, and I myself, sir, I'm going to get in touch with you all about getting out there for a scan.
No, it's I originally I came into Lifeguard as a patient, and just my wife and I, we wanted to be proactive, and these are preventative scans that patients that come in and get a scan of the heart and then the whole body, where we detect hundreds of cancers and heart disease. And these are, and this is why they're called the silent killers, because once you have the first symptom of a heart disease, it's usually a heart attack. With cancer, it could be late stage, and what we're doing is we're catching it early, and we're catching it. If anything were to develop, you catch it early, and now you can survive it at a higher rate, but also with better quality of life. That's the thing, trying to catch these things at the earliest stage, so patients can survive it and obviously live a longer life.
Yes, and speaking of yesterday's Bloom Health Expo over at One Buck Place, before we get into that, was that Nico wearing a Martin Gramatica throwback jersey, a creamsicle yesterday over there at that event?
No, that was Gaston. The thing is,
oh, it was Gaston. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I never got to play with a creamsicle, but it's a cool jersey. So they wanted the boys wanted to get, my daughter too. So we got some made for them. Even though I always tell I'm not that old. I missed it by 2 years. So it would have been awesome to play that, because it's cool when they do a throwback and it's a really cool jersey. So I'm excited that they're bringing it back for one game. But in this case, we just had them made for the kids, because I didn't get to play in it, but it's a really cool jersey.
Can I ask your permission? I'm getting one. I already told James Canada on Thursday night. I had James Canada from Big Game Sports Buzz in here talking to him. We were talking about you, and I told him I'm getting a 98 because he also didn't get to wear him. He played here from 98 to 2001. After seeing Gaston wearing that Gramatica number 7, I told you Neil O'Donoghue number 6 was my first kicker. I hope you don't mind, Coach. Can I go ahead and get a number 7 Gramatica throwback, because it is tight? I kid you not.
Absolutely, man. It'll be an honor. I always say, when I see the jersey, I just can't believe that people are wearing my name in the jersey. So I'm always humbled by our fans wearing my jersey, especially when we have so many Hall of Famers on the team. You're thinking, no, you're going to wear the kicker's jersey, but I appreciate that for sure.
No, well, first of all, the name continues just in what you're doing, Coach, Soccer Dad, Martin, and also with Lifeguard Imaging over yesterday at the Bloom Health Expo. And of course, we got Nico going to be at USF in another year. Thank you, Martin, for coming in. I didn't even get a chance to ask you real quick on your way out, because I know you're at a kicking session there and I don't want to keep you. What were your thoughts when the creamsicles broke on Wednesday? What was the first thought? Of course, you said that you missed it by 2 years, and I knew that, but I also don't mind it because you own it. But what were your thoughts with that marketing campaign and the creamsicles? Looking forward to it this year.
No, I was fired up. I mean, when I was trying to go get those jersey made, they're like, well, we're sold out. Luckily, they had a few extra blank jerseys they could make, but yes. All the fans are. And when I'm in the Buck store, when I went to get them, 99% of the fans were buying the throwback gear. So it's definitely a hit, and it's just cool. It's cool to bring it back, and that's where it all started, with that jersey, and now we transitioned over to our jersey. But yeah, it's really cool, and it's something different, and it's nice for the kids to wear it too, because the young kids never got a chance to even see that creamsicle in the at one or at Raymond James. So now. Yes. Now they'll be able to wear the throwback. So yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And I feel better wearing a throwback, shirt or hat, because then I didn't play. I was a fan of that team, so I don't want to, I don't want to, they always joke. I don't want to wear my own jersey to the mall, So I wear a throwback. I'll wear a throwback T-shirt before I wear a regular T-shirt, so I don't want to act like I'm, making sure everybody knows who I am.
No, and I was going to say, so I'm sure as a dad, but you do anything as a dad. We do anything as a dad for our kids. But going into this, first of all, you're in the team store and you look over and Martin Gramatica's in there. So I'm like, what? But you go in there and you're buying the number 7 Gramatica, and you got to think, did you have to tell anybody? Not that it matters, because brother, you own it. But did you have to tell anybody, like, it's for my son, it's for my kid? Or did they look at you and go, oh, okay, he's that guy?
Yeah, but maybe since I bought 3 of them, maybe they're like, oh, he can't be wearing all 3. But
that's true.
Just one, maybe. They probably thought I was wearing a Shaq Barrett. He's switching number to 7. So I'm like, I guess he's switching to 7. That's what I heard. So maybe that's what it is. They think it's a Shaq Barrett jersey.
I saw you switching to 7. I kind of liked him at 58. I kind of think you always be number 7. You were my first. Martin Gramatica, thank you for coming in here. Go do your kicking session. I appreciate your time. Hopefully we can do this again real soon.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Good talking to you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, brother. You too as well. Thank you. Again, Martin Gramatica, he was over at the Bloom Health Expo yesterday. Gil Guayardo put it on there. Of course, if you watch Gil Guayardo's show there on WFLA Bloom, I didn't even get a chance to talk with him. I didn't want to keep Coach because, Dad, it's like, we know how Sunday our time is so, I don't say sacred, but it is, because we're the family. And of course, Coach is out there working at keeping it real. But he got a picture holding the baby, and he was holding this. I was thinking, man, my kids are in North Carolina. We would have been over there front and center as he's holding the ball for the kids kicking. And of course, I put that on my Facebook page. Let me get to a couple of these comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. I always enjoy talking to, well, Martine, but anybody, former Buccaneers, because we didn't have a whole lot of time to get down and into the nuts and bolts, but we will do that real soon. But it was fantastic starting our day off. I hope you all enjoyed that. Eric Hartnett says, hi, everyone. Hi, Eric, brother. Good to see you this morning. Eric also says, hi, Peter Blake. Oh, I like that. Play on words. Tim Haynes says, good morning. Good morning, Tim. Appreciate you coming in here. Could you all do me a favor, share the show? I literally do one share to my Facebook page. Of course, I share it later because hopefully there's enough content and good talk. We're talking creamsicles today. You notice I'm 16 minutes in. I haven't even mentioned Tom Brady. Again, I'm down here at Krabby's on the Pass where it's a beautiful, muggy. Let me see if I can get out in the light. You can see I'm starting. No sweat marks yet, but they'll be coming here in a minute. Thanks, Tim, for being in here. Eric says, great season by Ray so far. First team to 60 wins, Eric. Kevin Cash to 700. I saw Scott Bradford from Bucks Life post. It's not just it's a Bucks Life. It's a Pirate Life for thee and me, but also it's a Tampa Bay sports. That's why I kind of went with, I actually had this extra shirt. I'm like, what color should I wear? It's not going to show the sweat. So I had a nice tropical beach shirt on. Of course, I was down here at 8 o'clock. I'm setting up, getting ready to have Martine Gramatica in here right off the top of the show. And all of a sudden I look at myself and I'm like, I'm that Florida humid guy. I'm not Florida guy. I'm Florida humid guy. Oh my gosh. Shaughnessy is in here. Boom, 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 bang. Love. Thank you so much. Could you share? If you could share the show for me, Shaughnessy, I would really appreciate it. Just to spread that love out there. And Eric Hartnett says, let's go Bucks. Yeah, 100%. So I put that on. I know y'all saw it because I saw the Bucks had posted it and it had over 700,000 views. But Bert Kreischer, the comedian, of course, he grew up here in Tampa. He'll tell you about going back to the Big Sombrero and being a fan growing up. And I love how he says that his dad used to come home. Or speaking again of Bert Kreischer, the comedian, but everything guy. Love the machine. I got a chance to see that a little over a month ago. But he talked about all his dad had to do. Oh, let me get this right on. I'm gonna leave this alone for a minute. What's up, Sugar? Thank you so much, Shawnese. You are going to the Hall of Fame ceremonies. I think. I thought somebody asked you. I'm not sure if I saw your answer. I'm assuming, but I'm assuming right because you're usually at most of the good stuff. Oh, I skipped one, but I'll get back to that. But yeah, if y'all can just share the show. But Bert Kreischer talks about how his dad used to come home from. Oh, you are. Yes, I am. Thank you so much, sweetie. And Tim Haynes, I skipped your comment. Years ago, I saw Martine and Taiji Armstrong racing remote control trucks. It's so awesome. I've talked about how I met Leroy Selman. Of course, I've actually had a chance to sit and break bread, or actually it was just tip a bottle with Coach Mike Allstott. I mean, it's so much. It's one of the things we love about. I think it's probably like that in a lot of you because, these professional athletes, they're keeping it real. They're working so hard. They got to maintain such a strict lifestyle and maintain a work regimen. But they're regular people just like us. And I love that. I'm going to work it back in case because you can't go back and watch the start of the show. But, of course, Martine talked about how he went over to the Buck store there to purchase the throwbacks, the 3 number 7 creamsicles that he didn't never actually get to wear live. But I'm skipping, but I talked about this on Thursday night again with James Canada. No offense to Tom. He just retired. Probably going to stay retired. I think at this point where it's most likely, it is likely. But everybody was like, let's get Tom into creamsicle and have him over for a game, maybe the Detroit game there, and we'll have him wear the number 12. And I'm like, well, time out. And nothing against Shaq Barrett wearing number 7. He's going to look tight in that number 7. But Doug Williams was 12, and then Trent Dilfer was 12, and then Josh McCown was number 12, but over the years there's been different 12s, but Doug was my first number 12. And I'm not saying Tom hasn't earned the right to get some passes as far as anything here in Tampa Bay, because he's a good guy, greatest of all time at the quarterback position. I'm just saying there's no reason for him to wear that. But on the juxtaposition of that, Martine was a Buccaneer. We drafted him right out of Kansas State. What he meant for this team, for the Super Bowl championship 37 team. You go back, guys and girls, and I'm going to say this because there's a couple of Eric Hart, and I see you there. You don't understand what it meant to have a kicker like Martine on this team and how many defensive Hall of Fame defense. Again, Rondé Barber, the 4th Hall of Famer here at the end of the month. What it meant to have a kicker who could make those kicks in so many close games. And Martine bossed it up, did it with attitude, always took it so seriously. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to buy a Shaq Barrett number 7 jersey. Not out of disrespect. I love that cat. Love that dog. But I'm going to buy that Gramatica number 7 jersey because the throwback in the creamsicles, it takes us back to a time, the colors. As a kid, 1976, at the age of 7, going to my first Buccaneers game. 79, worst to first, celebrating that. Super Bowl championship 37 when my father was still on this earth. Now, of course, now he's in that special luxury box in the sky just above Raymond James Stadium, has the best seat in the house. The memories, it takes us back. And there's so many memories, so many times. And you guys and girls know about me and my kickers. So I'm getting that, James. I'm getting that James Canada number 98 throwback. And I'm getting that Mark. I got to stop interviewing Buccaneers on this show because I've already decided I'm going to keep all my good stuff, all my recent stuff. But I've already got a lot of creamsicle. Well, I was looking for something creamsicle to wear today, and I got the old John McKay rain jacket. It's sunny and hot and doesn't breathe very well. I got the long sleeve Bucco Bruce. I've been wearing that for over a decade. People giving me grief about it actually at one point, just a couple of years ago. Got my Doug Williams throwback jersey, but at the same time, now I'm just decided that I'm just going to throw out all my work. I'm going to keep a couple of work shirts to the left, and I'm just going to put all my Buccaneer jerseys in there. And they're all going to be creamsicle. I'm going to get all these colors because it takes me back to that time, just like I know it does with you guys and girls. So share what your thoughts are about that. I appreciate it. Eric Hartner says, what takes Winfield trying to convince Tom Brady to come back? I'm glad you asked that, Eric, because Dave Canales comes in, new offensive coordinator. He's got Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. He's got Kyle Trask starting and Baker backing him up. I'm kidding. Either way, whoever wins that job, they're going to win it. They're going to man up and they're going to win that job. I pose that we're going to have the best starter and possibly the best backup in the NFC South this year. And I'm not taking away from Derek Carr or Bryce Young. I'm not trying to tell you Calvin Ritter's not going to be the guy at some point, but I'm talking about 2023. That's why I still think this Buccaneers team is so dangerous this season, going for that third consecutive NFC South division title. What would it take him to convince Tom Brady to come back? I'll throw this out there. First thing when I saw that, and I heard Antoine's Winfield's comments there on the Richard Sherman pod, you saw Tom. He's throwing footballs off the boat at the I always forget the name of those things. Oh, whatever, the flying drone, and he's popping them. You're like, he's still got the arm, and the guy's still in shape. He's spending a little more time off the grid, but hasn't been with this offense. And whereas some people would put what happened last season and all the stuff that Tom was going through and the injury to Ryan Jensen and losing Amar Pett and Kappa goes as free agent, which was really the biggest reason why your offense struggled the most in 2022. I would pose that Tom could step in here and 99% of Cody Mauch is a new guy on the offensive line and some other free agents, but everyone else has played here at least one, if not 2 years or 3 with Tom Brady at quarterback. I would pose that if the call came in, Jason Light took it, there might have to be a meeting. They have to realize what's best for this team. No offense to Tom, but is it best that we just continue moving forward and don't spend $25 million or $35 million in the quarterback position? Or because I still think we have a championship defense in place and dogs on that offensive line and one, if not two possible Hall of Famers at wide receiver. It's weird being a Bucs fan. We know one, at least in Mike Evans, of course, Chris Godwin being the other, not Russell Gage. Sorry, Russ. But it's odd as a Bucs fan saying that, but not really. But there was a time when Leroy, right off the bat, the first draft pick in team history, Leroy Selman, he was the guy. He made that. He's our first Hall of Famer. But now it's kind of like rolling off the tongue. Of course, our fourth Buccaneer just off those Tony Dungy teams. Notice I said Tony Dungy because he was really one to put those teams together. I don't think it takes a lot to convince him. If it's in his head that he might come back, if it's even a centillion of a chance, I don't think it would take much. And I don't think the world would have a problem with it. There's always going to be some guy. You're going to have Colin Coward's going to go in there and say, he's old as heck. He hasn't been working out. He's been partying with Kim Kardashian. Shut the heck up. The fact of the matter is, the dog's in a room over there, the other 52 and the coaching staff, and they got in there and they said, hey, Tom wants to come back. And again, Jason Light and Brian and Joel Glazier and Darcy Glazer-Kaslowitz, they all get together and they're like, hey, moving forward, we want to take another run at that third championship in team history. If that's the course they decided to go, who's not going to buy into that? I don't think it'll take a lot, Eric, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just think it's argument that's out there. Maybe it took some of the heat off of the white party a little bit. Eric Hartnett says, remember those times? Yeah, brother, I do remember those times. Shawnee Bryant says, we take kickers for granted. Gramatica was automatic. The best kicker we ever had. Friday night. I didn't even think about it. I've been up, funny story. I hope Martine doesn't mind me telling this. I got up this morning. I woke up around 4. I had a good night last night. Didn't even get out of the pool till 10:30. Too many beers to talk about. And I'm up at 4, I woke up at 4:20. 4:25. Let's just say that for the record. And I pop my phone and I pull up. Who am I going to listen to? So Air Supply? Well, I listen to a little Air Supply. So I'm all out of love. I'm so lost. Oh God, I can't even sing that at all. But I'm listening to all of a sudden, boom, Gramatica, Automatica, right in with the text. Hey, We on for today? What time? Is this thing a go? I talked to him, reached out last night, and I messaged him back immediately right there, 4:27. I'm like, we're on. I wanted to ask him if that surprised him at all. I mean, we're all of the age, I guess, now where it's not totally a shock that we're up this early. It is when I was up drinking that late last night, but Automatic, great comment. Yes, I love it. Eric Hartnett says, still got Rondé Barber jersey and Sapp and Brooks jerseys. And don't believe me, as James Canada was talking about from the Big Game Sports Buzz, number 98 in your program, number 1 in your defensive lineman's heart. We talk about James got the looks and Sapp had a little bit better of a get off, but we were talking about, he remembers when he was back in college at Nevada and the creamsicles actually turned to the pewter and the red, and how lit those colors were, and the logo. And we feel it. All of us felt it. We saw it. I said the moment Hardy Nickerson signed as a free agent in 93, Bucko Bruce became the most intimidating son of a gun in the NFL, and he was. And that was when this team started to turn it around. And then they also draft, to bring in Johnny Lynch from Stanford. Then you get Rondé, and you draft Sapp and Brooks, and you're putting this team, and Culpepper was in here. Then you bring Dungy in from defensive coordinator for the Vikings to head coach. This team was already really changing, but it was time. And those colors were lit. And then the color changed again a couple of years back and a little bit over the years. And you know what? I don't even hate the alarm clocks anymore. And I say alarm clocks, but even those now, a couple of years removed, I'm like, no, I get it. I saw, whose post was it this week? And he has a room set up with all of the jerseys from about a decade ago, or not decade, maybe 7, 8 years. I remember being at the game, the overtime versus the Raiders. And I'd never realized that when the light, and I'm Shaughnessy, you know this, the light would shine on those numbers from angles, and they lit up. They were glow. They were white. And I was like, oh, that's it. I get that. They were good. So I pose anything at this point, Buccaneer. I'm just glad, because we kind of heard early on, we saw Leroy's in the marketing, but early on it was like, are these going to be really different from the OGs? And I'm here to tell you, because the OGs, they were Coleman tense. They didn't breathe at all. I had all the OGs. Mike Ray, quarterback, was Ray, my father being Ray. Mike Ray was spelled R-A-E. But I had Leroy Salmon. I had Mark Cotney. They were like, you put on, and they didn't breathe at all. If I was wearing that jersey from back then out here today, I would be a pool. But still. But I love the fact that they didn't go too far off the res on those. They kept it real. They kept it OG, and I love that. Let's see here. Eric Hartnett says it's amazing. Yes, it is. Satina's in here, brother. But he's coming back here. Talking about Tom Brady. I think you're talking about Tom Brady. If he comes back, again, he came here in 2020 during a pandemic, rushing the papers through New York City to get the physical so he could sign it, fax it back, fax it back to the team, because you couldn't travel and or do a lot of stuff then. I'm not saying there's other teams in this league that couldn't be poised for a Tom Brady, maybe even in this division. But just had Derek Carr get to the Saints, or Derek Carr is there with the Saints, and of course Ritter there in Atlanta. Boy, put Tom Brady with Kyle Pitts and Drake London, and that defense that they're starting to put together there. One would pose that could be a scary thought, but I would assume if he were to come back in 2023, it has to be with the Bucs. Again, Jason Light, the cap. What are we willing to do to take another shot? I pose we have a shot this year anyway. Things have to work out. That's why they play the games. Shaughnessy says people act as if this team still isn't capable of competing for the division. 100%. Best comment so far. There's been a few. Defense wins championships, and last time I checked, all of our guys on defense are coming back. We're going to be just fine. Again, I'm looking at, and then you go get Elijah Cansey and a Yaya, and you get or a Savatia. You look at what this Jason Light continues to do, but you got Devin and Levante, and you got Carlton and Jamel, and you also, who else we got back there? All the guys, and then you're working. And I think Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is a double-digit sack guy this season, but. The problem with the defense last season, and this is why I think there's a disconnect with the national media and the way they talk. Sorry if the breeze is too much. It's a little up. Please share the show again. Martin Gramatica at the very top. I hope you all can go back once the show's over and watch it. Go to my YouTube page and follow Tampa Bay Ray 7683. 76, of course, you know the year 1976, why that one. And I'll tell you about 83 another time. But the fact of the matter is the offense last time, with the injuries on the offensive line last season, even with the plethora, Leo word, of player and talent we had, they couldn't get the ball and keep it. Go back to the Packers game. They defensed us, whereas we, especially here in Tampa Bay, early in the season when it's hot, the goal is to keep the ball, wear the defense down, and just win that game. It goes back to John McKay. It goes back to Tony Dungy. It goes back to what Bruce Arians did when we won the Super Bowl at times. But they couldn't make first down. So our defense was getting tired. Our defense was overextended. Then you get the injury to Shaq Barrett, has some other things happening. So, yeah, I pose that the disconnect at the national media level is the fact that this team, Shaughnessy, you said it the best. This defense is still a championship caliber defense. This is still the defense, basically. You got dogs you got Nunez Roches goes and gets that free agent. You got guys, of course, you had Dominic and Sue. There's been changes over the last couple of years, but this defense is basically still the same championship defense from 55. So all this offense has to do is just, be consistent. Give our defense a chance to wear other teams down, or our offense. Shanice also says, it blows my mind that we aren't able to purchase a Warren Sapp jersey. That's insane. Help me get an answer on that question. Whoa, why can't you buy a 99? That's crazy. You know what? I mean, I'm just shooting from the hip here, but is it did Warren Sapp somehow copyright the creamsicle 99? I mean, he wore it, and of course it went away. And when it went away, there was nobody in Tampa Bay that could ever have looked down the road 20 years or 15, 20, 20, 30, 27 years and go, oh, these are going to come back. Trust me, they're coming back. I mean, does he own the copyright to that? No, the team owns that. That's crazy. Maybe he's bought them all out because that's how quarterback killer do. Eric Hartnett says, heard Carton said not underestimate Bucks coming this year. Yeah, I mean, that's just it, Eric. Don't. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be such a solid year. Such great times over there at Raymond James Stadium. And then the big sombrero there in October. Tim Haynes says, we have got to run the ball this year 100%, which starts to go back in a road a little bit. That because Tom Brady played on great teams in New England. It had a running game. It had a LeGarrette Blount. Had a Sony Michael. Had a running game and a defense. Saw the blueprint. But I think this team's doubled down. And I think that with the dogs you have at quarterback, already learning this Canales system. And by the way, shout out to Dave, girl dad Dave Canales, offensive coordinator. And you saw he had a post this week that he had a day with his daughter. He has when the daughters or children turn 7, they get a day with dad. Looked like they were down in Miami somewhere, but shoot, it could have been Sarasota because they looked like it was a run to a bridge or something. But I'm sure they had a great time. I hope they did, and because we know that coach is going to be a little busy for the next 7-8 months. How long does it take to get to Super Bowl 58? Shaunicia says, Eric Hartnett, so glad he spoke out. Yes. Was that Carlton Davis? I think you're talking about. Yeah, 100%. You got to do that. Hopefully there's more team because you wonder now. On the offense, you got Vita Vea. You're wondering on his defense. Of course, you got Carlton. You got Levante, and Devin White's going through that weird, year because I talking with again James Canada dropping his name like a slippery football today. But I posed that. Oh no, actually, I was talking with J.C. Allen of Pewter Report and Peter Plague. This is a couple of weeks back, and I actually posted. You guys saw with the guys over there in front of the brass captain just down the road here in Madeira Beach, and I was talking about. Probably, even though he still gets paid, he'd get 5% more than the top 5 linebackers in the league if he were to get franchised in 2023. If he balled out Devin White in 2022, of TJ Reeves, Buck sideline guy, of course, always locking it down. He says that Jason Lights, his MO is usually guys earn that contract, and then when it's time, you get that money. I don't think the Bucks want to lose to Devin White. I think this year, with a healthy defensive front, putting pressure on quarterbacks, you're going to see that speed that Devin has, being able to, just sitting there. Oh, you can't even see it on camera. And I think he's going to get paid. Hope it's here in Tampa Bay. I hope that works out. That is something else that could be affected by a comeback of a certain quarterback that might cost north of $30 million to have another run. 6 of one, half dozen the other, right? I'm going to get off that. Oh, and actually, Tim, thank you. I see that you're actually on my YouTube page. We've got to run the ball this year. I think I already said it. Yes, we do. Oh, I did. I worked it back. Shaunicia says they don't offer them. The Warren Sapp jerseys. Huh. That's odd because I still know quite a few people that have the original 99s that he wore when he first was drafted in 95. Well, of course, they don't offer them. People can have them. But, I mean, they were tight. That was one thing about Warren Sapp was he was so wide. He was so big. But 9'9" always looks so solid. And then you see other defensive linemen over the last 30 years wear 9'9". And a lot of them tend to play like a Warren Sapp. None of them have that get off though. A couple of them, maybe an Aaron Donald or something like that, but very few. And Eric Hartnett says, Shaughnessy Bryant, thanks, sis. But yeah, I got you, Eric. Thanks, bro. All right. Supposed to have a special guest come in here. Let me just check one thing real quick. Oh, okay. So yeah, we're gonna have someone else come in here. I won't drop a name, leaving me hanging. But again, I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. Hope you guys are finding your beach. Love that somebody brought it to my attention this week about the love and watching out for each other. Because you know how I drop every show. Forgot to do it on Thursday night. Not forgot, got busy, but my battery was running. I mean, as I ended the show, little thing about StreamYard, I'll share something with y'all. If I'm out, I'm a clown on a wire, just trying to keep my balance. But if I have a show live and I lose it's happened. The battery goes dead, my computer goes dead. There's nobody in the back room or administrative panel other than Peter Blake himself that can go in there and end that show. And I didn't have Peter on the show the other night, so my battery's running low. And I've done it before. I had a great show about a year and a half back. And it was a great show, and I couldn't end it. The battery went dead, so there was 15 minutes of just dead air at the basically black screen with the runner. I didn't have my runner on here today. That's what I hated about this. I got to set up the brand for this so you can see when I have Martine in here, but I'm pretty sure that people recognize Martine Gramatica at the top of the show. 15, 20 minutes of dead air at the end. Had to drop that show. I also posed, talking to my guy, Alex Schomburg, I was on when Tom Brady announced on Instagram he was coming back. Y'all know that. You've seen that clip. I was also on the air within 2 minutes when the initial reports broke. Jason LaConfora of CBS News that Thursday night that said that, Tom Brady was retiring, retirement was imminent. Of course, that's before he comes back 40 days later. I'm just on the air a lot, but I found that sometimes it's great because you're on the air when stuff happens, especially when it's your Buccaneer news or anything else. But mostly it's been Buccaneer news the last couple of years. So that's the reason why I keep doing this. And well, to have this go back and forth with y'all, please, what are your thoughts? Let me pose a question because I haven't really done that. First, you're going to say love, but the most surprising thing, the most touching thing, let's say the most touching thing about that promo video for the throwbacks. First of all, they're at Leroy's. Leroy, and of course, someone posting, it was Scott Bradford again at Bucks Live, said, wish we could go to Leroy Salmon's. Oh, I used to love, God, that was one of the first really great barbecue places in this area. I mean, there was a couple going back. I mean, I go back to years back in high school, there was good barbecue. Especially down near the gas plant district down by the old Tropicana Field. But we used to go down there and I love it. I love a place that keeps the oven on all day and things just smoking. Stuff never stops smoking. But love going to Salmon's. What about that promo video on Wednesday? What touched you? What about it? Was it Mike Allstott opening the rope? Derek Brooks in the promo the day before making the call, talking to Levante on the phone saying it's time. What did it make you think about, your first thought about creamsicles? I'll tell you what, my first thought about creamsicle was John McKay when I saw the promos, but I think about the creamsicles all the time. Wearing his Fisher's cap, wearing his orange Buccaneer creamsicle windbreaker blazer because it used to rain so much. It'd be raining, and he'd be standing on the sidelines. All my family dressed out in the old. Every school picture I have, I've posted them here. Every school picture I had up through high school, and they wouldn't let me sit for my senior portraits. I would have worn that thing during my senior portraits. I used to always wear that Buck shirt. That was just, they said, hey, tomorrow's picture day, wear a good shirt. That was my good shirt. That's just the way that ran. Oh, Shaughnessy says, the Derek Brooks call. Oh, man, I'm going to start. That got me. Just a voice. I'm just sweating. Yeah, I'm just sweating. But yeah, people are very like, why is the guy crying? He's doing a testimonial. Yeah, Derek Brooks being a leader of it all. Hunter, this really is sweat though, and it's here. That got me, Shani. I really appreciate that. I love you. That got me. That was a good feeling. You guys are probably gonna say some more stuff's gonna get me. I'm challenging y'all. Give me some stuff. Let's see if anyone can touch me like that. Derek's voice. Kreischer, I'm going to lighten it up a little bit, DJing, but then seeing the video of Bert Kreischer getting that creamsicle number 23, the machine, of course, 23 for the year, and he opens it, and he's crying. It was amazing. Wanted to come back. Yeah, 100% there, Eric. So many memories with the Creamsicles because we were in the same division. We weren't in the same division, but we were geographically almost a little bit. They're a little north and west of us, but the New Orleans Saints, they wore the bags. They were the Aints. They were terrible. We wore 0-26. We didn't have a problem with it. That was our first. We were Tampa. We didn't, we had the Rowdies, and then we had the professional. We didn't have the Light. This is light years ahead of the Lightning. 20 years, 19, 20, 19. 20 years, 22 years before the Rays. The Bucks were our. Oh God, thank you. Much love. Um, yes, but we wore those, and there was nothing more exciting than being. And I'm going to share this for anyone. A lot of y'all. So I see a lot of y'all in here that you remember this time. But when that stadium, when we were shaking our feet, we had those red little. They gave away those towels that had the numbers on it. They had Dave Logan and Richard Batman Woods and Mark Cotney and Cecil the Diesel, but they had all the numbers on it. It's like they were the first no-name. I know other team, I forget no-name defense, but they were our no-name defense. We had names. We had Leroy Selman, we had Dewey at one point, but so we had our guys, we had our dogs, but we were like the first no-name defense, that worst of first team. That's why we wore 0-26, and then we wore those colors. But then when those colors go away, everybody's like, they're so ready for these to be gone. That Bucko Bruce, that winking pirate, which again, I'll go ahead and say this. After Doug Williams leaves here in 1982, doesn't get that new contract, the next, oh my God, I got to get this girl in here. Olga, love your show, Ray Kennedy. Thank you, and thanks for the awesome memories. Oh, you're getting me now, too. I'm not going to wear this one. I love you, Olga. I've had a chance to break bread with Olga. Yeah, thank you. You're one of us back and forth. You guys are giving me the feels. I hope I can give you guys a little bit of the feels, you guys and girls. Where was I? Yeah, the creamsicles. But when they went away, it was like the whole world was like, because, again, I posed that after Doug Williams left in 82 and the way this franchise was run, and Bo Jackson and number 1 overall in 86, and over the years, and Alvin Harper, whatever that was, Michael, now I'm just kind of riffing here, but I get it. This was a laughing stock as far as free agents wouldn't come in. And it wasn't because they didn't want to come play for the Buccaneers, but it was the way it was ran. I'm not going to. He used a name we don't say. Culverhouse. I'll say it. In '93, when Hardy Nickerson comes here, I felt it. The world felt it. You would see number 56 running in and putting that Bucko Bruce on you, laying a lick on you, and then he's there when we draft Rondé and Johnny and Brooks and Sapp, and they all talk about TJ Reeves again. Shout out to my guy, Buck Sideline. You're following him. You guys and girls know him. Talks about what Hardy Nickerson meant to bring those guys in, showed them how to watch film at the pro level, first on the practice field in the morning, last off the field at night, what it meant for this team to have a stalwart. Remember, he came before Dungy. Think how many teams went right for this team at that point with Rich McKay, who should be in that Ring of Honor. Don't know why he's not, but Hardy Nickerson should 100% be there. Before Tom Brady, somebody said, wait the 5 years like the Hall of Fame. I think that's a good thing. If they bring it sooner, if they brought it this season, I think even if the Bucks already reached out and asked him, I think it's disrespectful for the Patriot fans. It's like, look, he was there 19 years, came here for 3. It was awesome. Let him do his victory lap, like James Canada again said the other night. Let him do that victory lap with New England. Let him. They're going to retire to number 12. If they don't, then it'd be the stupidest thing. What did Steve Grogan wear? Was it 14? I forget. Old school Patriots quarterback. Let them have their time. I mean, Tom's not. He's too good of a brand guy. That being said, though, if that centillion 1/1,000,000th of a chance that the team is like, we'll get another run and we can spend the money and we can make it work and we can do a few more contracts and kick that can a little bit because Tom wants to come back for one more run, then he gets to wear a throwback. Then number 12 will always have a picture of number 12 throwback right up there with Doug and with Trent and with, again, I think it was Cade McNown. Olga says, my man, Hardy Nickerson, 100%, right? Remember what it meant when we got Hardy Nickerson, Olga? I mean, it was like all of a sudden coming to there was the rest. This was the NFL. This is my meme for the day. The NFL, when Hardy Nickerson signs a free agent contract with the Buccaneers in 1993. I mean, it was like all of a sudden. And as fans, we just had it. We knew it was a step. Didn't mean we were going to come championship, even though he played on some dog teams in there. Pittsburgh, Hardy Nickerson did. We weren't going to all of a sudden light the world on fire, but it was the start. And then that was the first step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with but one step. I just made that up. I'm kidding. I didn't. I'm not just sure that's the exact quote. But yeah, 100%. Eric Hartnett says, who thinks best GM Bucks Ray? I think right now Jason Light is right there with Rich McKay. And well, Rich McKay was a ball boy on this team when John McKay first came here. Don't forget his brother actually played wide receiver on our team in '76. Somebody help me out here. Oh, remember what was the McKay, the older brother that played wide receiver for us? I'm trying to think of not David McKay. Dave McKay, the great DJ, and of course we have Dave McKay way in Pinellas Park from WQYK. He also gets to watch those Bucks games from that great luxury box just above Raymond James. I pose the best seat in the house. But Rich McKay, John McKay, Robert McKay. Anyway, I posed at the job Rich McKay did with the Culver House Trust, but they were coming out of, they were starting to spend some money. The NFL was starting to make teams spend a little more money. Culver House couldn't just pocket all those profits and then just say, hey, okay, give me my, I remember, I think it was 85, 84, that the Culver House, the team got $13 million as part of that TV pie for the 28 teams at the time. And Culver House would take like 12,730,000, and he'd give the team 270,000 and say, here's your money for payroll. Make that work. Of course, you didn't have a salary cap back then, but with the Buccaneers, there was no worry about. You had to worry about a floor, not a ceiling. Rich McKay, the job he did going from there, a little bit harder, drafts 2 Hall of Famers right off the bat there in 95. Look what the Bucks have done now. I don't want to get into that, but I can start naming guys on this team. I can start naming draft picks, Jason, that are well on their way to HOF careers. One being number 13, one being number 50. Who else I got? Oh, Levante. Of course, Jason Light didn't draft Levante. Levante actually is the last Buccaneer to wear those throwbacks in 2012. We could get it. I didn't want to go there. Maybe you all share with me someone else I'm not saying here. Something else. Tim Haynes says, just kidding. JK. Oh, JK McKay. That's what it was, Tammy. Right. My God, that's right. JK McKay. Now I remember. Brother, that's why I love leaning on y'all. I appreciate you. Olga also says, yes, I do, Ray Kennedy. When Hardy came to the Bucks, Hardy did so much for the Bucks. Yeah, because he had to do a lot. He had to do. You talk about Hardy Nickerson was probably now. I posed at Neil O'Donoghue's wife, who used to sunbathe out on a dock here, and around my friend Steve Alford. Shout out to an old friend from back in middle school. Probably did more for community outreach for a teenage boy at the time. She didn't sunbathe nude or nothing, but sometimes it was topless. Neil O'Donoghue's wife back in the day. Shout out Neil O'Donoghue. Neil O'Donoghue's wife. Sorry about that, Neil. But Hardy Nickerson, not only did he come in here and set the tempo and start playing strong defense and all of a sudden let the world know it's okay to go to the Buccaneers as a free agent, he also did community outreach. He made his money, he made his bones off the field and what he did for Buccaneer fans as far as suddenly they're able to, this is going to be bad. I'm wiping these glasses down with possibly a wet shirt. The community outreach that Hardy Nickerson did was almost as strong, but not quite, because his play on the fields was so inspiring. And then the images or the leadership that he set for the rest of the team as he took 4 future Hall of Famers under his wing and showed them how to be a baller at the NFL level. Good stuff, Olga. Yes, that was great. Eric Hartnett says, who thinks best coach if you have say? Tony Dungy. And then, I'm not going to drop. Oh, so I got dark all of a sudden. Sorry, the sun will come back out. Let me get out here. Oh, I get away though. Pauline. I hope this is okay. How do you like the view, by the way, guys? Guys and girls, nobody said anything about that view. Have you seen any boats go by, or have you seen the dolphin pods? Wait, is that dolphin pod right there? Oh, those are pelicans. Yeah, you'll see the dolphin pods swimming through here and feeding through the pass. In fact, it'd be so awesome if I'm standing here. I'll get center. If I'm standing here talking to you and Flipper came over here and and squirted on me. Water out of his mouth. Not that kind of. It's Sunday morning. Let's keep it real. Tony Dungy. John McKay, Bruce Arians, Sam Weish. This is going to be a not favorite one, guys. John Gruden. not for what he said and did and what got him thrown out of the league. By the way, we can get into that a little bit, the way the NFL blackballed him, and he continues to have that as he's giving a little bit of offensive suggestion for Derek Carr and help with those New Orleans Saints. Yeah, that burns my bridges. Yeah, there's the sun again. And then, of course, I'm going to follow it up with this one's not going to be popular. Greg Schiano. I know he lost the locker room. I don't know he did anything illegal. I know he did some stupid things. I know Peter Blake would have my hide. Should have been producing. You could cut me off, brother, but have my hide for this. But I mean, you go back to that game, and Olga, you tell me, Shanice, if you're still in here, I appreciate it. You tell me about that Seattle game where we actually had that lead, and it would have been the biggest win for this team in a long while, and we almost had it, almost, and then we lost it. And it was like after that, it wasn't just a drop right off, although one would pose at one point it did. Oh, yeah, Olga says, great view. What's your guys? I'm always giving you guys what I think. Maybe, here, I'll do this. Oh, let me get my water. No, let me get my spray. Again, thanks to the staff down here at Krabby's on the Pass. If eating breakfast, having a good time, they got the $1 Million View, the world's longest waterfront bar open, and that was so great. I was in here standing with the bartender. She's my girl. I forgot her name right now. And she's got the windows open, and all you see is that. In fact, it's more over that way and a little more facing towards the full crux of the bridge. So when a bridge goes up and down, and I said, you got $1 Million View. And she goes, yeah, I think maybe she loves it. She said, but maybe I take it for granted sometimes. I'm like, well, that's how life is. We all take things for granted, but come down here. And if you don't make it for breakfast, because we're already pushing 10 o'clock, 9:30, come down here for the lunch, because the food in the afternoon gets hella better than at night, and the crowd and the lights and the breeze off the Gulf. It's summer, but they got all, and inside it's cool. I'm not going to even go in after the show. It's so cool inside. I walk in, it's like, you guys remember that? Like the view. Yeah, thank you, Eric. Olga says, yes, Sam Weiss. Yes, he also did more than fans realize. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Remember Sam Weiss' story? I'll give you guys and girls this. Because you could find this stuff on, social media if you go down that rabbit hole and just start looking at things. Sam Weiss was coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Boomer Esiason. I got to do it. Any questions? Guys, keep popping them in here. Okay. First person that gets this gets thanks to the great staff, again, over at Yank and Crank Fishing. Yank and Crank Extreme Fishing. Go to yankandcrank.com. I got a shirt. Let me show you. But I'm not going to give this shirt away. This is my shirt. But this is just one of their shirts. I had it here. I was going to put it on, but then black would have been just out in the sun. So that's the front, Yank and Crank. Go to yankandcrank.com. Wait till you see the back. They're true artists. Let me keep it in the light. You see that Yank and Crank Extreme Fishing? That's the Kingfish shirt. But I got a Yank and Crank. Got a brand new hat at home. First person that gets the answer to this in here, I'm gonna do a little something, okay? First person that can give me the name of the player that did this gets that Yankee Crank out. I'll have it out this week. I'll get it in the mail. Y'all ready? I do this because people are walking by. They're like, what the? He's having a seizure. Somebody call 911. Who was that, guys? Girls? Remember, I have a football in my hand. Cincinnati Bengal. Come on, y'all. Come on, Olga. You know who that was. Running back. There you go. Tim gets the hat, brother. Icky Woods. The Icky Shuffle. 100%. I had to do that. This is a Sunday morning. It's a sojourn for the sports savvy soul. We're supposed to have a laugh. I hope you guys got a laugh. Hope the crying didn't bother y'all too much. I'm not going to do it again right now. There's no reason to. I'm feeling good. But Shanice and Olga, you girls touched my soul today, and that's where the good stuff is, right there. Everyone needs to know someone cares, and today I know y'all do, and you guys know I care about you. So I thank you, and please share that show. If you can go to my YouTube channel, Tampa Bay Ray 7683, and share it from there. The followers are growing every show. At this rate, I could be to 1,000 by the year 2070, but it's still in the tens. But you get that break. I pose the frame rate's a lot tighter. The commenting is better, and I appreciate it because I'm just trying to build that channel that I'm always going to be associated back with the Sports Web, but so I can have it. There's sometimes where I've got limited amount of Wi-Fi, or I've got limited. Always got to have power, but I've got limited Wi-Fi to get my show going. I might have to take it just on a YouTube channel. I want to make sure you guys and girls don't miss it. I really appreciate you. Icky Woods. Tim Haynes gets the hat. Tim, DM me and Messenger your address, and I'll have it in the mail this week. Wait, do I already have your address? Did you get one of those already? I don't think you did, but if you did, Tim, it's okay. You got another one coming because you earned it, my friend. Again, go to yankencrank.com. Tell them you saw it here on Cup of Ray. Check out their merch. The shirts, I show it to you again, but not. Oh, look at how sweaty I am. Not only are the shirts tight, so artistic, but the quality, the cotton on them is 100% awesome. Oh, the bridge is going up. Can you see the bridge going up? Oh, yeah. Has the bridge gone up? Oh, oh no, it's just an advertising boat going through. Not a lot of sailboats going out today. Has the bridge gone up? Has anybody seen the bridge go up today? I'll have to go back and ask Martin Gramatica. Kind of drop that name all day. Again, check out Lifeguard Imaging. I'm going to do this. I'm checking on my insurance on Monday, making sure it's covered. Get the full body scan. And again, like you said, cancer, the silent killer, full imaging, picking up abnormalities or irregularities and seeing it through the scan. And love what he does. Love what they did over there yesterday at the Bloom Health Expo at One Buck Place. But I'm going to get that done. I think you saw Warren Sapp was up on Wednesday. Warren Sapp's being proactive with his health, just like Martine says he went in there initially on his own as a patient, being proactive with his health. Why don't you and let's be proactive with our health. Go to Lifeguard Imaging. I'm not sure how you got to get that free scan, but even I would pose if the insurance is covering it or it's a minimal cost, it's your life we're talking about here. Where do we set that bar? I think we got a high bar. Olga says, thank you. No, thank you, darling. Olga, darling, I hope that's no, you know me. And then Tim says, no, you haven't. Good. So you got one now, bro. I wish I had it here, but I don't bring it. It's at home and in the box. It's brand new. You're going to love it. It's a tight extreme fishing hat from Yank and Crank. Go to yankencrank.com, official sponsor of the Cup of Ray show, and let them know. Get some of that merch because if you're here in Florida, or even if you're watching from somewhere else in the country, it's as easy as to go to yankandcrank.com and get a little piece of Florida. It's right here in West Central Florida. Get a little piece of Florida. And the days you're not wearing your creamsicle, wear your extreme fishing shirt from yankandcrank.com or a hat or koozies. Wait till you see the merch they got. Check it out. I hope their numbers on their website take off today because they deserve it. Okay, so I am pushing on an hour. I think I'm going to cut it. I got so much to do today. Let me talk. We talked Tom. We talked creamsicles. We talked Carlton Davis. We talked Antoine Winfield. Talked, of course, to Martin Gramatica. I think that's about it. I want to thank you all again for sharing the show. And let me get professional while I do the close. Have I been standing? I always, sometimes it's funny. You know, the worst thing is I can see but there's been times where I had to set the computer up where I couldn't see it because I had to use the computer's camera itself. And there's a time where my show was literally like this. Wait, let me go like this. Yeah, so thanks for watching the show today. I hope you guys, y'all are the cameras right. Thanks for watching. Please share the show. And I get home and I watch it. I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? Jason Ball says, thanks, guys. Thanks, Jason Ball. Hey, share the show. I appreciate you, Jason. The boat coming in right behind me here. Oh, wait till you guys see the parasail boat coming in. How y'all? Oh, let me do a shout out here to the parasail. 727-367-FLIES. 727-367-FLIES. Parasailing by the pass. Got the crew coming in here. They got some people going out on a parasail today, and they run right at you guys have seen them before. Oh, I'm looking over there. You guys have seen them before right here. They run out of the pass, get out in the Gulf of Mexico. Parasail goes up. They're pulling right in. That's parasail. Parasailing the pass. 727-367-3597. They put up with me just like Krabby's on the pass lets me have this $1 million view. I want to thank you all for watching again. Please share the show. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Martin Gramatica for coming on here. I want to thank Nico Gramatica for committing to USF. I can't wait. They're talking about that new stadium. I don't need a new stadium. They can be playing anywhere. And now, especially what we got going on, and we're the team we're putting together at USF, getting that new tradition started, restarted again, that tradition of football like we had under Levitt. But then getting Nico there, and you guys know my fascination with kickers. Martin, Igwebuike, Garo Yepremian. Put Garo Yepremian in here. He was 102 years old, kicked for a year and a half with the Bucks. No, I just love Garo. Again, thanks for sharing the show. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope at least one thing made you laugh today. Olga's the final comment of the day. Showed up late. We'll watch your show today on YouTube in a few. Olga, I'm getting off now just so you can do it. Thank you so much again for touching me. You guys remember how I end every one of these things? Everyone needs to know someone cares. Today, get the good feels. Reach out and be the one that lets them know that you care, and you never know when it's going to come back. And the Lord knows we can all use a little more of that. Awesome. I'm going to get my showrunner up here. Have a great day. Share the show. Let's continue building me Tampa Bay Race 7683, my YouTube channel. I appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Have a bucking great day.